All right. Well, I thought I would switch up the time a little bit in hopes that this would work well for you all. So I'm going to go on and get started. If you hop on, go on, and just if you have questions, you can post them in the chat feature. I wanted to talk to you all a little bit about just wrapping up this week. If you need to adjust your macros, how to do that. But first, we're going to start with just a few little housekeeping things. I wanted to talk to you all about what to do after Sunday. And so keep in mind that most of the time you will start to see your own body composition change within 6 to 8 weeks. It usually takes about 12 weeks for others to notice. And so that's about 2 rounds of the fast rate of fat loss. And a lot of my clients do they will do another round with me because they necessarily didn't meet all the goals that they wanted to meet in the first 6 weeks. Or also they were just finally catching on to the strategies that we have in the faster rate of fat loss. And so they want to continue another 6 weeks to further their progress. And so I just started around this week. We are in prep week, and I've closed registration for new clients. But you all, if you want to continue and do one more round, you can register up through the end of this weekend. Just let me know. And, hey, Karen. And so if you want to register, then you're just I'll post the link in our Facebook group. But when you do, you're going to actually scroll all the way to the bottom and click on returning client, and you get a $60 discount. So you'll pay $140 for your next round. And so Karen, I was just letting everyone know that you can join the next round. It started actually yesterday, but we're in prep week. So for you all, we'll keep registration open through the weekend, but I've closed it for new clients. So you'll just basically finish out this week with me, and then you can start immediately on week 1 next Monday. So if you didn't, reach all the goals you wanted, and you still are wanting to continue living this lifestyle and want the accountability, and plus there's going to be new workouts. We have a brand new workout portal that came out on Sunday, so you'll get all new workouts and everything. Then you want to make sure you sign up. Okay, so that'll be $140. Now, if you've done 2 rounds with me, then you can funnel through to the VIP program that I offer. That program is going to be $49 per month. It's a month-to-month basis. It's not a year commitment or a 6-month commitment. It's just month-to-month. You get workouts just like you do in the faster way. So you get 5 weekly workouts, and it goes along with our food cycle. So you get, your HIIT Tabata workout, your sprint workout, and then 3 strength training workouts. You also get the accountability, and then you also get monthly trainings where I will share videos from Amanda's VIP group. And so this past month, we've been focusing on gut health. And so that's what my VIP group has been focusing on as well. And so each month is a different topic. So you get 1 topic each month and 1 live video. So that's $49. And again, if you want to join, you can join that. I only open up registration at the end of the month so that you start at the beginning of the month. That way it makes it easy on billing, and I don't have to prorate things. So if you've been with me and done 2 rounds, you can start the July 1st round in a couple weeks, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, make sure you're just putting those in the chat feature, and I will answer everything at the end. But now I want to talk to you all about when and if to adjust macros. And so for some people, they can get through 6 weeks and they're still seeing changes. They're still feeling good. They're not feeling hungry at the end of the day or first thing in the morning. And so I always say, you do not need to change your macros. If you can get through your fasting window and you are, through your feeding window and you're full and you're doing fine with that and you're still seeing changes, then your macros do not need to change, okay? But if you have kind of plateaued and you're not seeing a lot of change anymore, and you know that you have been, following the guidelines and meeting your macros and things, then it might be time to adjust your macros. But there's always a few questions I like for you to ask yourself before we go that route. And so I want to talk to you about those questions. The first question is, have my measurements changed or are my clothes fitting differently? And so maybe you've taken your measurements throughout the 6 weeks already, and you've seen that you've lost some inches. Maybe your clothes are fitting differently, which for most of you, I know you all have told me that they are. But for some reason, if they're not and your measurements haven't changed, then that might be a good sign that we need to adjust macros. Another thing to ask yourself is, am I getting good, consistent quality sleep? If you're not getting good sleep, you are not going to see the results you want to see in this program. Sleep is so important in your fat loss journey, okay? The third question that you should ask yourself are, am I chronically stressed? Am I dealing with a lot of stress right now? Am I overtraining? By overtraining, I mean, are you grinding through all the Faster Way to Fat Loss workouts, maybe training for a race like a half marathon or a 10K? Am I doing other group fitness classes and still doing all the Faster Way to Fat Loss workouts? So you can overtrain your body, and by overtraining your body, that will actually set you back. Okay, we've been taught that we should grind away and do hours and hours and hours of workouts, and that's going to get us the results we want, when in reality our body is not designed to do that, and it's not going to get you the results you want. So ask yourself about your stress levels, and ask yourself, sorry, I'm just making sure I got everybody muted. Okay. So make sure you ask yourself about your stress levels and what those have been like throughout the 6 weeks. If you've had a lot of stress at work, at home, whatever, then that can also affect your results. Another question to ask yourself, the fourth question, is, am I approaching my period? And so obviously, if you are approaching your period, you are going to be retaining some water. You are going to feel bloated. So yes, you're going to feel like, nothing's changing. My clothes aren't fitting any differently. And then you start your period and you're like, oh, that's what it is. So if if that time of the month is approaching, then obviously you don't want to adjust your macros yet, because it could be that it's just that time of the month. You certainly don't want to do measurements if this is the week of the month for you, or you're about to be on your period. Wait until you're off your period and do your measurements a few days later, okay? And then the last question to ask yourself is, have I been properly hydrating myself, and have I been indulging too much in sugar, salt, and alcohol? And so, we have our treat days, but some people take treat days a little excessively and have more than one treat day. And there's different things this summer. So I know there's lots of barbecues, and we've had a holiday a few weeks ago, and then birthday parties and weddings and things like that. So just ask yourself, have I been indulging too much in sugar, salt, or alcohol? Because those things will make you retain water. Those things will definitely help you burn fat. And make sure you're drinking enough waters. And if you haven't been drinking enough, that will also affect your results. So the questions to ask yourself again are, have my measurements changed, or are my clothes fitting differently? Have I been getting good quality sleep? What have my stress levels been like through the 6 weeks? Am I overtraining? Am I approaching my period? And then, have I been properly hydrating? And have I been indulging in too much sugar, salt, and alcohol? Okay. So if you answered no to most of those, or yes to some of those, and then no to the alcohol and everything, and you're not approaching your period, and your stress levels haven't been high, you've been getting good quality sleep, you have noticed some changes in your measurements, but maybe not a lot, then it might be time to adjust your macros. And so I want to talk to you on how to do that. And I'm happy to work with you one-on-one to figure out which way is the best way for you. But the first thing to do is, if you're going to adjust your macros, I want you to consider increasing your macros. okay? Not decreasing, but increasing. And here's a couple of things to ask yourself before you do. The first one is, am I closing my feeding window and I'm still hungry? I've consumed all my macros for the day. It's the end of the day. My feeding window is closing, but I'm still hungry and I've eaten all of my macros. And am I waking up in the morning hungry and I'm not making it through my fasting window to that 16 hours? So if you answered yes to that, definitely consider bumping up your macros, increasing them. And by that, I just mean we simply start by increasing 5% across the board. So you would increase your carbs by 5%, your proteins by 5%, and your fats by 5%. And that means if your protein goal is 100 grams, you would take 100 times 0.05, and you would just simply increase your protein by 5 grams, right? And so the way you do that is in MyFitnessPal. I'm opening this up real quick. You're going to figure out, hold on. Okay, so open up the wrong thing, sorry. So you would increase your protein by 5 grams. And to figure that out, I'll have to help you all probably a little bit, but our protein has 4 calories per gram. So you would take your 5 grams that you've got to bump it up, times it by 4 calories. You need to increase your calories 20 calories just from protein. So I know it's a little complicated. If you have the premium version of MyFitnessPal, I don't, but if you do, then it's very easy to bump your macros up by 5%. So again, I will help you with this on the side. It is a little complicated, but you will increase it by 5% across the board. So it'd be your gram goal times 5%. That's how many grams you need to increase it. And then we'd have to figure out the amount of calories to bump up. Okay, so let me know. I will help you with that. Another thing the reason why I say bump up your calories is because through this program, you've developed some lean calorie burning muscle, and your metabolism is working at a higher pace or a higher speed. So your body actually needs more fuel for those muscles that you've created. And that's why we always want to increase our macros, not decrease. Okay. We want to make sure we're feeding our body properly. Another way to adjust your macros is by decreasing your percentages across the board. And by that, I mean, if you feel better when you eat less carbs, then we could decrease your 50% carbs, take it to 45%, and bump up your protein by 20, take it to 25%. And personally, that is where I am, because I feel better when I have less carbs. I'm very sensitive to carbs. If I consume a lot, it just makes me feel really full, really bloated. And so I do better on doing a smaller percentage of carbs. So I do 45% carbs, 30% fats, 25% protein. And so that is another way that you can adjust your macros. So if you've kind of lived a low carb life or a ketogenic life, and you feel better, or you feel better on low carb days, then that would be the route that I would suggest you take, is bumping your carbs down to either 45 or 40%, and then increasing your protein to either 25 or 30%. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. But this is how we start. And it's kind of, you do the adjustment, either you increase your macros or you bump down your carbs and up your proteins. You try it for a couple of weeks. You see how you feel. You see how you do. And then if that's not working, then we regroup and try to figure out, okay, do we need to go a different route, or what do we need to do? Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. So, we do have a 24-hour fast coming up on Thursday. I've moved it from Sunday, but you're welcome to do it on Sunday if you'd like. But I will be posting in our group for Thursday. That will be our last 24-hour fast. It will be a low macro day, a active recovery day. There will be no need to post your macros. But just wanted to remind you all about that. If you have questions, does anyone have questions? I'm going to unmute you. Karen, and Stephanie. Can you all hear me? And I mean, I know you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Are you all there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Good. So do you all have questions? Since, it's just us on here. It is recorded. I can go on and stop recording it but if you have questions.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
Thanks, Karen. No, I don't really have questions, but I probably will need to adjust my macros. I'll be honest, where I have been low carb for so long, I really struggle with the carbs.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, I agree. And do you feel okay, like, as far as, with the amount of carbs that you're eating right now, you feel good? Like, how are your energy levels still good? And
yes, I'll be honest, I've always been a tired person. Come nighttime, I'm worn out, but I've been that way since I was a teenager. So that's really not anything different for me. So no, not really. I can't really tell that I'm more tired. I feel pretty good on low carb days.
Okay.
Well, actually, I love low carb days.
I know, I do too. And I'm always ready for Wednesday to get some carbs, but I don't.
Right.
I never meet my carb goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, go on if you want to take it down to 45% carbs and bump up your protein to 25%. Kind of start there and try it for a couple of weeks and see how you do. And then if you bump it down even more to 40%, then you can bump your protein up to 30%, or maybe even bump your fats up 5%. So typically, I always bump my protein up, because protein is the one macro that our body uses as soon as we consume it, and it doesn't store it. So it's used to help, create those lean calorie burning muscles. So you may have to get a little creative with your protein if you've struggled with getting in enough protein, like maybe adding in a protein powder shake or something. More, chicken. You can do deli meat wraps. Like, I just take turkey deli meat and wrap it up and eat it like that. And I was surprised when I first started doing that how much protein was in. Like 2 ounces is like almost 10 grams of protein. So I'm deli
right.
meat.
I normally don't have a hard time getting my protein. And then when I post my macros today, you're going to be like, well, you didn't have a hard time with carbs today. I'm like 2 grams over or whatever for today. But yeah. So, but my biggest thing, well, the one great thing that has been great for me is to realize that I can make it through the fast, and I can't believe how good I feel doing the fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I guess that's just where you've cleaned your body from all the processed foods. Because I would wake up and breakfast was my favorite meal. And like, if I didn't eat breakfast by a certain time, I felt like I was going to vomit. Like, I was sick, But I guess it's just where you would have, I guess the carbs or the sugar or whatever it was I was having. And so that has been like the best thing ever. I don't mind the 24-hour fast these days.
No, and it's so encouraging when people, I have my other group is actually having their first 24-hour fast on Thursday as well. This will be their first one. And they're all super nervous about it. They're afraid they're going to die. I'm like,
yeah.
You won't die. My other clients they're actually surprised themselves. So
I know. I guess that's why I'm so surprised, because I was like, I will die. I'm not going to make it. And John's like, Steph, just drink some water. You're going to be fine. And so after the first one, I was just shocked. I really was. So,
well, listen, I made it through vacation day.
So you will want to do your measurements next week, preferably on low carb days, because sometimes when we eat carbs, they're stored in our muscle for energy for later, and so that can make you a little bit more puffier. So low carb days are actually the better day to do your measurements. So Monday or Tuesday would be the day I would do measurements, and then you'll just send to me. You'll take your after picture, as well. And when you do your after picture, you want to make sure that you take it, if you can, in the same clothes that you had on, in the same area that you took it in, with the same profile view. So if you took one from the front, do one from the front. If you took one from the back, do one from the back. If you've done a side, do a side. So make sure you kind of just mirror what you've done for the before pictures, okay? And then you'll just send those to me with a testimony as well, which I think I'll be posting the client feedback form again this week, and so you can put that in there, your testimony if you want. But that just, and then let me know if you are fine with me using it on social media. A lot of times I cut from the head up off, and I don't put your name. If you don't want your name, I put your initials or your first name, whatever. But I just use them as, testimonies, and a lot of people like to see those because they're like Florida results that people get through this program. So, but definitely do your measurements on Monday or Tuesday.
All right. Well, some of my back fat's left, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, that's where, I could tell some, I still have some, but it had, I can tell a difference there too. And, but I can't believe which my legs are like the worst part of my whole body, but I can tell a huge difference in the strength in my legs just from like doing squats now versus doing squats at the beginning.
Yes.
It's,
yeah.
I could tell such a difference, and I can tell a difference in my arms, the strength as well. I don't know how many, I've not really measured. I've tried not to do anything just to see, I've not measured along the way or anything, but
another thing is you don't have to weigh yourself at the end, but I know a lot of people are always curious. But you don't have to, and don't get hung up on that number if it only changed 5 pounds and you were hoping for 10 or more pounds. But you need to do your measurements and see. A lot of times your measurements, you've lost more inches than you have pounds, and those before and after pictures really speak volumes as far as the transformation, because you can see a lot in those pictures. So that's why I always try to focus on measurements and the pictures, and not the number on the scale, because that number isn't always the best judgment. So,
okay.
Well, if you all don't have any other questions, I'm going to end this recording, this call, and then I'll just post it later in the group. So thank you all for hopping on and joining me, and I'm looking forward to just finishing out these last few days with you and wrapping up strong and just making sure we stay focused. And then if you need to adjust macros and you need help with that, just reach out to me and I will be happy to do that. So
Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you ladies later. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.